Today we will be talking about cutting or trimming your locks. When you're getting ready to cut your locks or trim, and when I say cut, I'm talking about cutting into a style, not cutting it all off, but cutting it into a style or trimming your locks, you want to think about a couple of things. If you have thicker lock, cut it at an angle because it will unravel less. If you have sister locks or small locks, just go ahead and cut because it's hard to cut small locks at an angle because it's just too small. But if your locks are thick enough, you can go ahead and cut them at an angle. It slows down the unraveling process. Okay, you want to wait till your locks are mature before you even want to cut your locks or trim your locks. Now, can you play outside the sandbox? Yes, but we're just talking about the basic. Wait till it's mature before you lock, because your locks lock from the tip to root. So you want to cut closer to the tip as much as possible and avoid cutting too close to the root, because that part is still locking. Because your locks start locking from tip to root, you want to avoid cutting too close to the root, because you might just be ending up doing your entire locks all over again if you cut it too short. Okay, so do not cut your locks too short. Only cut in the areas that are mature. If you are newly locked and you want a trim, you can get a trim if and only if the area that's being trimmed is already loose. Or you know how some people have some about this much of loose hair. You know how if it's already loose and you just want to trim it a little bit, you can go ahead because you're just trimming loose hair. But as far as a major cut for a style, no, I would not recommend it. Okay, another thing you want to consider, you need to have proper shears when cutting your locks. Even when I have proper shears, you want to make sure that you have the proper size, because I've had people with thick locks, and man, I've broken some shears trying to trim somebody's locks. Okay, so make sure you have if you have thick locks, or make sure you have some good heavy duty shears to be able to achieve that cut. Okay, or you end up breaking it. If you don't, just literally, if you have thick locks and your shears aren't that heavy duty, just cut one lock at a time. If your locks are really skinny, then you can go ahead and go in, okay? But be mindful of that. All right, so that's the tips I have for you when cutting it. After you cut your locks, do expect for some of your ends to open. Some people can cut their locks and their ends won't open. Some people will cut it. Some parts of their hair, the ends will open. Some won't. And it depends on how low you go. How low? Can you go down low? But anywho, depends on how low you go, with the cutting. So some people ends open, some don't. Some people's ends open a lot, some don't. So just be mindful. Like for me, I cut my hair about 2 months ago. And yes, I've had some slippage. I had three locks that came undone. And of course some of the ends open, but not enough for it to, do anything. But some unraveled completely. Mainly because I cut and color and shampoo and condition my hair. Yes, I do all of that. Because I like open ends, because I feel like my density is not that high. Open ends give me volume, make my hair look full. So yes, I love my open ends. So yes, I condition, do all that stuff so I can have open ends. And I will take that over 3 locks slipping all the way out, okay? Because I can just put them back in, or I just wait on my consultant to put them back in. Sorry, consultant. But anywho, so yes, do be mindful of that. Also, another thing to consider when you cut or trim your locks is shedding. Keep in mind, our hair is shedding in the lock every day, okay? So when you go and trim your lock, you will have some shedding, okay? That is completely normal. And if your hair unravels a lot, you will have more shedding than most. Like for me, I've had a couple of locks unraveled like halfway. And so, yes, I had more shedding. But like I said, I'm willing to take the risk for the fullness, okay? Also, another thing to, well, volume. We've talked about volume. When the ends open, do expect to have more volume, okay? That's one thing to expect after you've cut your hair. So once you've done that, because your locks will open, your ends will open, and you might have some slippage, unfortunately, you may have to go back to the baby stage, which is bundling your locks before shampooing. If you've been conditioning your hair, you might have to stop conditioning for a little bit so your hair can start locking back up, because you've kind of opened up your locks. So doing those things, going back to the basic, will help lock your hair, the ends to lock again. But I do not want my ends to lock, so I'm not bundling, and I like my open ends, so I'm not bundling. I'm not going to use clarifying shampoo. I use clarifying shampoo to cleanse the hair, but not for the purpose of aiding the locking process, okay? So, but for you guys that don't want open ends or don't want it to slip out too much, you're gonna have to go back to the beginning, bundling your hair. And what I mean by bundling is literally taking your hair in groove in a section, twisting, you know, doing all that, and then flip it over. Y'all making me mess up my hair so I can show y'all. And then twisting it, you know. I could have just put a video right here, right? And then put a rubber band to twist it to bundle to secure it. But y'all making me mess up my hair. It's fun. Okay, so that's what you will do for bundling to protect the ends of your locks so it doesn't continue to unravel, because it will open up in the beginning, and the more you shampoo, the more you condition, it will unravel. So if you want to continue to shampoo and condition your hair, bundle it to protect the ends. I would avoid using conditioner for a little bit, but if you're like, nah, baby, if you got color, I would say go ahead and keep conditioning, because color is very drying, and especially if you've lifted or bleached your hair, it can be very drying. So you definitely want to condition. So just bundle that thing, girl, so you don't have to worry about it, okay? So that's what I would suggest. Also, you can do protective styles to help slow down or to minimize or to eliminate some of your locks coming completely undone. And it will only come completely undone if you cut it short like I did. But if you're not cutting it that short, you ain't got to worry about that. And the protective style is good to help the ends to not bunch, okay? The ends will get a little ball at the end when it starts locking back up, but it shouldn't be bunching where it creates this fat knot at the end of your lock. And so when you pull it through to retighten, it's hard to pull through, okay? So those are my tips for you when you're cutting or trimming your locks, what to expect and what to do to help prevent it. So I hope all this information was useful. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, like my video, comment. Have you cut your hair recently? Let me know. I want to know. And what happened? What did you experience when you've cut or trim your hair? And definitely hit that subscribe button and share. Thank you for viewing my video, and see you next time.